things are happening, and it's like, I want to fight for my life. I want to fight for, you know, just and not guilty. Like, I want to have a life to be able to live. You know, it's really going to be hard for me to take more hits than I take it, God forbid, get in front of a jury and have a chance. And so I'm having this emergency call because something has to give.
We need the core theme to be, you didn't do anything wrong. You know, you didn't do anything wrong on any front. And you've come to New York to face things head on. If anyone's ever paying any attention to what you've actually been doing, you've handled this with complete honor.
I don't think it's working. I've listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
We're losing sight of the big picture, man. It's the middle of September and there's still no indictment.
Bro, then you have to have a spokesman. You have to have some sort of comms to constantly be pushing that, Mark. Because you may just be a person that you just may watch CNN. You know what I'm saying? And there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them is on Instagram and TikTok. And so you at the wrong place looking to see what the people with the possible jurors are thinking. We have to find somebody that'll work with us, whether they from this country or from another country. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
When you're a leader in that way, it's admirable until you get to the point where you want to control everyone around you. He got to that point.
It's like Scarface, the movie. I want the world and everything that's in it. But you got everything.
Hey, yo, New York, we did it! Harlem, we did it, Mount Vernon, we did it!
It was a mantra that Sean had. Nobody's gonna be bigger than me.
Sean is the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. We'll never see a Sean in my lifetime again, ever.
It was like the more money he got, the more power he got, the more power he got, the more money he got. And he always felt like money can get him out of everything.
I do feel it's important that we let the public know from the juror standpoint, just kind of how we reach the verdict. It's not everything that the media has put it out to be.
You want to put the stuff in my fanny pack, King?
He's creating a narrative always. He is the best storyteller in hip-hop. He thinks he's Black Superman. I can do what I want.
You can't go on for long in life doing the things that he was doing before something eventually happens. You can't continue to keep hurting people and nothing ever happens. It's just a matter of time.
I was there from the very beginning with the invention of Sean Combs. I co-founded Bad Boy with Sean. I was dazzled by his ideas and his unique talent. But he was a very different Sean Combs back then. Sean was 19 when he dropped out of Howard University. He wanted to be in the flashy, swaggy music industry. He started off dancing, wanting to be in videos, wanting to be a pop culture mover and shaker at a time where things were changing. Hip-hop was evolving.
The late 80s, it was fantastic.
There were a lot of independent labels that gave birth to hip-hop in the way that we know it today. Heavy D was the biggest rapper signed to Uptown. We call him the official mayor of Money Earner Mount Vernon. And his influence reached all the young people in the neighborhood, including the young Sean Combs, who was at Mount St. Michael High School, a Catholic private school. He would knock on Heavy D's door every day to see if Heavy would take him to meet Andre Harrell.
Andre was the champagne of rap, and he took the streets to Wall Street.
The only entrance into hip-hop at that point was Andre Harrell and Russell Simmons.
into the corporate hip-hop world, into the money.
Sean had impressed Andre enough to give him an internship, and that was the beginning. He forbade marijuana. He did not like drugs. He had the Gumby, and he looked like a scholastic dweeb.
But Sean was so determined.
Andre Harrell, Heavy D, I'll Be Sure, they had all the money and all the power, and I was like, I don't know what they did, but that's what I want to do. I learned a lot quickly. Being in front of Willie Burgers on 145th and 8th, being at the rooftop, the fashion, the walk, the talk, the attitude, the drive, the determination. I was ready to do whatever it took to win.
First task we had given him was just go get a tape 10 blocks away. He came back in 2 minutes or something crazy. And I remember I was on the phone, I looked up when he came back, I was like, how'd you get there so fast? And he said, I ran there and back.
He ingratiated himself to Andre and made himself very valuable. You don't want to do without. Like, who's going to get my clothes? Who's going to armor all my tire? This is so convenient. Then they lived together.
Andre is taking him under like a son. Andre is the very first patriarch he connected with. Sean grew up with the illusion of what masculinity looks like. My first encounter with Sean, I remember it like yesterday. My family, we rented the first floor of Sean's house. I was my mom and dad's only child, so now Sean has somebody to brother up with. We experienced a lot of firsts together.
I didn't know much about him. I know that he had a big ego. I met him around 89, 90. My job was to promote music videos. And Puffy, he was always doing the party promotions, so he's always like handing out the flyers.
He was savvy enough to promote parties. And they were the most successful parties at that time. But they were all about promoting himself.
I went to a party for a good friend. It was getting very late. Puffy is like, oh, you know, I'm having an after party at Andre Harrell's house. Puffy is like very polite, you know, and thanking me for helping him. And he asked me, oh, wow, I just got this call, you know, this girl backed out of this music video, you know, can you do it? And I was like, I don't do music videos. But this party was in New Jersey, and I needed a ride back to Manhattan. So I went along, and I never forget, I had the same clothes on that I had from the night before. The music video was called Straight from the Soul by Finesse and Sinquist. The whole premise was for me to jump out the car and go with these girls and get away from the pimp guy.
Was there ever a time that Sean Combs assaulted you?
Yes. Someone called me up and told me that, he said, you know, he has, you know, video. And I was like, what? And that's when he described it and explained it. I just want to say this. This thing was incredibly devastating to my family. My mother, she's a social worker. We don't have money. The thing that we had was our pride. We carried ourselves well. We were pretty. We were intelligent. This is the basis of what I had, self-respect. I approached a lot of people for help. I got things like, what do you want me to do about it? To, if I help you, I can't get into his parties.
Why would you want to do that? And the girl tape it and then put it up on the screen.
I avoided him for a very long time. I ran into him one day. He came to me. He got on his knees and swore he did not do this thing to me and denied it. And that is the very last time I talked to him. When I think back in terms of his rise, it is the most helpless feeling. I was always nauseous when I saw his image. The one image in Times Square where he's holding his fist up, when I saw it, I vomited right there on the street. You are really raising your hand in victory, and I'm living in trauma and defeat.
I'm 19, and I always like seeing people entertained. And I thought, you know, over the holidays, just wanted to throw a celebrity basketball game in Harlem.
I was at the game, I was on the floor. All of us was there. Every rapper in New York, right? Your MTV Raps came.
I'm at City College in the heart of New York City for the Puff Daddy Heavy D first all-time celebrity all-star classic.
That was one of the biggest basketball games. If that would have turned out correctly, it would have went down in history.
There were lines and lines around campus to get in. There's no more room, but everyone still wants to come.
We open up the doors, everybody starts flowing through, but then thousands more come.
We were on the court, warming up to play, and then Dougie Fresh grabbed the mic and said, there's people that are dead.
Sean over-promoted, overhyped, and that led to a crowd.
The death toll from last week's stampede at a New York charity basketball game has risen to 9.
One of the unanswered questions remains who's to blame for the stampede that killed 9 people.
My dream for this evening was to bring a positive program to my people, to people of my age, and to people in my community. Whatever must be done to ensure that this never, ever, ever happens again.
It was the biggest news ever. That's how he got super famous, was that game and those deaths. That's the beginning of Puff Daddy.
Brass that afforded Uptown its distribution money wanted Sean out. I saw Andre fight and fight to keep Sean in, and he did.
Andre Harrell, Puff Daddy, he's passed it on to, I guess, his son, Protege.
Yes, yeah,
Puffy.
yes.
Tell me a little bit about this man and why you like working with him.
Because, you know, he's not intimidated by youth, you know what I'm saying? He knows the importance of leaving a legacy behind. We need more adults out there that's gonna teach the young, such as myself.
We had a group back in the day. They drove up to New York unannounced to meet Andre Harrell.
When we make love,
Jodeci.
it's like a dream.
They sing for Andre. Andre loves it. Immediately that becomes Puff's first responsibility. Andre put his trust with Sean as opposed to the artist. I don't care who the artist is, you're more important than them. The artists don't work without you.
Sean wasn't a producer where he can tell you, you need a C here, a C note, or this is an F, but he did have a good ear for what could be a hit. Let me give you an example. At the Rooftop in Harlem, the DJ Brucey B would mix acapellas from R&B songs, and it drove the kids crazy at the clubs. That's what Sean did with Jodeci on those remixes.
It was very minimal. It was very hard. Jodeci's record started climbing the charts.
Sean turned that into the blueprint with his special brand of A&R, and then the next artist to benefit from that was Mary J. Blige. Mary's What's the 411 was out the box. He launched a female artist in a male-dominated hip-hop era. Mary became the owner of that sound. In 1992, Sean is promoted to VP of A&R and Artist and Development.
Puffy had Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, but Puffy's a big, huge EPMD fan. He was at my crossover video shoot, and he asked me to do the Mary J. Blige intro for the 411 album. I did that for him, and then all of a sudden we became friends. I thought it was a genuine friendship until I see that this game is being played. You got an agenda. Misa, he was trying to court her after we broke up.
Sean wants her because Eric was that dude. It was about, I got her, I won her over from him.
He had to have the girl. And Sean has a way about, when he gets you, he got you. He got you. And now you become property.
Got to the point where he would put his hands on her. Right outside of Uptown Records, they're fighting in the street,
and he's beating her into the car well, and people are pulling him off of her and separating her. A year or two later, they're still together, and Justin is born. Invited me to be the godfather of his first son. I was able to push that in the back of my mind and say that was a really bad moment, but he was weak, and it was a bad moment. Does that make me part of a Sean Combs cult? Maybe so. I may have been the first disciple, believer, and then overall protector against all odds.
At that point, Sean is on top of the world. And his trajectory was only up. Everybody now looking for this kid, because they all have artists that they have to get to the top of the chart. What does that do to a person? Do you think I'm still gonna be like, yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you very much? He became too big for Uptown Records.
I'm gonna be so drunk or high by Wednesday 8 o'clock, I'm not really gonna give a f, but I give a.
There started to be some dissension between Andre and Puff.
Andre was the king, town castle of the empire he created, and the intern was taking his place.
I remember it like yesterday. Andre called me into his office. He tells me just like this. He says, "Dog, I just fired Puff." I said, "Word?" Andre was like a surrogate dad for Sean. Sean was really sick when Andre fired him. I'm talking about sick. Couldn't believe it. And then Sean called me and he said, "Yo, I'm about to do my thing, dog."
The West Coast had the hits that we wanted. Sean signed Biggie in 1992. People didn't know we had to produce Biggie's album for Uptown. He was an Uptown artist.
But when Andre fired Puff, he fired him with a caveat. "I'm letting you go, but I'm gonna let you take Big."
Andre decided to sell us the Biggie album. But now we had to find a way to pay for it. We were living on borrowed time. I went about setting up the meetings. We met with Epic, Sony, Columbia. Then we met with Clive Davis at Arista.
Everybody knows him on a first-name basis. Clive runs a $100 million record company called Arista.
So we went to Clive and we played a few tracks from Big's album. And I remember one of the first ones that we played was Gimme the Loot, and Clive's eyes went like this.
"You got the goods," and I bought into his vision.
Named it a bad boy, because I wanted to go against the grain. I didn't want to just make records, I didn't want to just make money. I wanted to make history.
I was at Bad Boy starting from the day that we put the LLC together, and Sean gave me 25% in stock, and his mother, Janice, had 75%. He did not put the company in his name to protect him from paying families at CCNY. And so as he's paper gangstering, he's also trying to street gangster too at the same time. Juicy single dropped somewhere in 94, but Biggie's trajectory was not zero straight to the top. Biggie had a slow start, very nervous at first. At the time, that West Coast thing is happening. So we began to look at what they were doing, and Tupac was like a shining star. Sean was just mesmerized by that particular song, the structure of it, the video and the visuals. It showed the culture. It's like, let me dissect this, let me understand it, let me do it my way. And that dropped, and it took us over the edge with Big.
We had Ready to Die before it came out. Big had sent Tupac a demo, and we played that tape to death, man. We played that tape till it was destroyed. And then Pac got the phone call that Big was having an album release party. He said to us, "Man, we all going to that." I never seen someone more excited for someone else's success as Pac was for Big's success. He thought Big was dope. He wasn't doper than him as far as he was concerned, but he was the next thing smoking. Pac would take Big with him on tours and let him open up for him. Pac was developing Thug Life, this ideology of taking back our communities.
Big was with that. He felt it. He resonated with it.
Sean was insanely jealous of Biggie and Pac's friendship.
You know, when I was around Big, I felt like he really loved me. I felt like if I left the room, he wasn't gonna say nothing bad, or somebody said something bad about me, he would defend that.
There's a yearning for him to have that complete, total control. You're my artist, you're my best friend, I make hits with you. Why do we need him in the picture? Tupac was a very likable person. All the women loved him. Being a rapper, being a movie star, for Sean, being a marketer. Please welcome Tupac Shakur. And there's envy for people who have success, fame, with no manipulation.
Puff is, to me, very threatened by Pac. When I reflect on how this all came into play, it's a trail. Became the ability to get away with anything. Then you circle in the fact that he has legit money. Then you have the antagonist, Tupac Shakur.
Do you know who was responsible for the killing of Tupac Shakur?
No, I don't.
I always looked at him as just being like this rich Harlem cat who just wanted to dance and make money. Every time I turn around, there's violence. There's this tension that is going on between Pac and Puff. Puff was very threatened by Pac. Puff wanted to work with Pac on a lot of levels, business-wise, and Pac wasn't having it.
Tupac was going to do a song with Little Sean.
Especially if you're an executive who want the guy to make you money, and the guy's saying no.
Out of the blue, they wanted me to do the song, so I said, all right, stopped off to get some weed. Smoked the weed. Then I was getting a page, where you at, where you at, where you at, why you ain't coming? I was like, I'm coming, I'm on my way, hold on. I wasn't thinking, why they want me here so bad? That quiet studio. Somebody screamed from the upper top of the studio, and it's Little Caesar. He's like Biggie's side man.
I go back in the room, I tell Big, I'm like, yo, Big, Pac downstairs. He was like, oh, all right, go get him. And we was in there recording with Big and Puff, and I'm yelling like, yo, Pac. And he looked up, yo, what's up, little nigga?
Recording artist Tupac Shakur was shot 5 times last night in a robbery attempt.
After surgery, his condition was upgraded to satisfactory.
And when I was about to walk out, 2 dudes came from both sides. Get the back in the elevator. Ooh.
Puff is there. Pac has been shot in New York under your watch.
I think they're trying to rub me out, really. Robbers don't leave behind $80,000 Rolexes.
Do you think Puffy was mob shooter?
I believe, sir. I do believe, sir. I have proof.
Biggie, knowing myself, had nothing to do whatsoever of Tupac being robbed. That's just a fact.
And that's a story that hasn't been told.
You know what I'm saying? So it just sounded to me like that's what I was saying. It was there like 2 months ago, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was there, yeah.
Eventually, he's going to get to the point where he's going to ask himself, how did I get myself into this situation?
My little lab right here, you know, where I cut my deals and all that. Got my little headset. He's living out a dream, you know what I'm saying?
One time, Sean was in his office, and I'm in a little cubby hole around the corner. It buzzes me. So I get up and I go in with my papers and go. A girl is giving him a job at the desk. He wanted me to see that. He wanted me to see her face. She leaves. What did you want me for? I didn't want you for anything. People in the industry co-signing his activity.
Bad Boy thing was so big, it was a consistent back to back to back to back.
Gets up from wherever he stayed that night. Everybody wants to see him. He is now the new gateway into music. You might have a group standing in front of the office. You're gonna take all of this power and money you're getting now and play by the rules? No, I'm the rule now. I am the exception to the rule.
One day, it seemed like out of the blue, my door opens up. Sean walks in. He wanted me to sign my 25% over. He had a baseball bat, had a big attache case suitcase with the snaps on it, and Diddy's over me like this.
I'm gonna stay lying down. I'm not. I can't do that, man.
He wants it now, and he threatened until I did. It wasn't like he was firing me. I wanted to stay in good graces. I still wanted to be at the company, but I was definitely confused by it. It might sound strange, but if you've ever built something and you want it to last, you think about how to make it last.
I thought he was kind of cool at first, and then we started seeing some things. Craig started becoming disenchanted.
Sean's trick was, I'm gonna make you a star, you sign, follow the money.
Bad Boy didn't sell enough records to explain his wealth.
You're gonna try your best, and we know you're gonna try your best. In the shell game, you'll be looking for your money for the next 20 years.
If Puff records a song with his artist, he pays himself. As an artist, you can go #1, but you don't have the money to go to it because you're not making the proper money off of your royalties.
Hell, I was getting money from my father.
I think Sean had an envy for his own artists.
You really just don't give a f.
He used to ask me to always be there in the sessions because I would tell the truth. I'd be like, that's not it. It doesn't sound good and it makes no sense. I think that Puffy wanted the light like he always wanted. That whole Bad Boy was built on him. You cannot take that from him. It wasn't like no secret, that's what he wanted.
6'3", 335-pound Suge Knight has managed to become the head of a $100 million record company.
Suge was about that money, but he didn't want to be in that limelight like Puff. He had his own lane.
He's a street dude. He's a real street dude. But Suge knew talent and he knew business.
And that was my job. How do I make Bad Boy equal the success of Death Row?
Me and Puffy, we used to run around with each other. He was getting in the business, I was in the business.
Before Bad Boy, Death Row was the most successful label in the business. But I would look over at Death Row and say, they're taking care of their artists better than we are. The Source Awards was happening in New York City. Sean wants to present strength. He wants to show coolness. And then there's a side of him that's all out dark.
I was working at the door of the club in Platinum House. Suge Knight came that night with his friend Jake. Suge was looking for Puff.
Sean would try to go after people's side chicks. Like a girl in Atlanta that Suge was dealing with. Sean wanted me to take $50,000 out of the overhead account so he could buy her a diamond necklace.
Suge and Jake is being escorted out the club. He touched Jake with the pistol and he looked at Suge like this and was shooting Suge friend like this. Puff was like, it's gonna be all right, man, it's gonna be all right. And then the shooter ran. A couple of days later, he died. That's what started the East Coast, West Coast war.
Have you taken the time to reflect on your gangster thug image?
Tupac Shakur, out of the hospital after surgery from bullet wounds, is convicted on sex charges.
I'm in jail. Strangers is telling you, you don't know? Biggie Homeboy shot you.
Once the conflict happens, Pac needed someone strong that was going to stand with him. And it just so happened that Suge had his own issue with Puffy. So Suge went to jail and visited him.
I'm gonna join the family, dog. Get me out.
Tupac!
And we will bring a new government here that will feed every person in New York.
Sean tried everything to get Biggie upset.
It's gonna do nothing but escalate, you know what I'm saying?
Biggie never wanted to be an enemy to Pac.
Biggie stole my husband legally. I am having his baby, know him?
When Pac was producing All Eyes on Me, he called us and said, I just Faith Evans, Big's wife.
And the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy.
Because no matter what, we all went to the East, they came here, went to the West, whatever. They wasn't arguing with each other.
Sean Combs was a friend. Christopher Wallace was a friend. And, you know, when we hanging out with our friends, we gonna protect our friends. So they knew that they were our associates. You got beef with them, you got beef with me. We gonna protect our friends.
One of the death row people got jumped by someone at a mall. And that someone was from Southside Crips. One of the Crips tried to take a death row chain. It was specific. We want a death row chain. I think that was an order from Bad Boy. That was an order from Puff. The guy who was ripped off for the death row chain is with Suge and Pac. He just whispers to Pac, "That's him." It was Orlando Anderson from Southside Crips. That was the foundation.
He was out there at the fight.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Soren with MTV News. Controversial rapper and actor Tupac Shakur has died in a Las Vegas hospital of complications from several...
I was in jail. I was in jail when he got shot. There was a lot of niggas in jail that was celebrating Pac's death. I'm glad that I didn't kill anybody or anybody killed me. But I damn sure came close.
Do you know who was responsible for the killing of Tupac Shakur?
No, I don't.
I think that Sean now, in my mature mind, had a lot to do with the death of Tupac.
In 2006, I was recruited to work a task force that was going to look at a cold case investigation. At the time, Tupac's murder was an unsolved case. Gang crimes oftentimes are difficult to solve because you don't get cooperating witnesses. We had built a narcotics case against Keefe D. Keefe D was kind of a shot caller for the Southside Crips. He was very influential in his gang. His nephew, Orlando Anderson, was a very well-known violent gang member. Tupac Shakur had assaulted Orlando Anderson just after the Mike Tyson fight, so Keefe D was potentially looking at a life sentence for federal drug trafficking. We wanted to question him about his potential role in the murder of Tupac Shakur. We let him know that he could potentially mitigate some of the damages if he wanted to come in and talk to us. And the U.S. attorney agreed that they'd allow Keefe D to do a proffer session. A proffer session is when a person facing criminal charges can answer questions wherein self-incriminating information would not be used against him in a criminal prosecution. Doesn't mean they have any kind of immunity. Sean Combs' affiliation with the Southside Crips came by way of a New York street figure known as Zip. Zip set up the introduction between Combs and Keefe D, and then they developed their own relationship. Keefe D says that Sean Combs kind of makes this general announcement while they're all inside a hotel room after a musical event. Then there's a more specific incident that takes place at a deli on Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, a place called Greenblatt's Deli. It says that when Las Vegas happens and they're all out there and his nephew gets assaulted by Tupac, they're like, this is the perfect occasion. The vehicle that Zip was driving that night reportedly had what we call a trap in it, which is a concealed compartment where you can place a gun. It's a difficult thing to find. Zip had driven that car to Las Vegas.
A few days before Tupac was murdered, Sean requested that we rent cars and have multiple drivers drive clear across the country to this fight. But I arranged through my budget to make that trip happen for those drivers. And to this day, it stands out in my mind. Why did we rent multiple cars? Why did we hire people from Harlem and other locations to drive?
On their way to the club, Suge is blaring his music too loud. He gets pulled over by some police officers. They essentially, say, hey, just turn down your music, no big deal. And it's at this point in time that Suge and Tupac see these girls.
If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police?
Absolutely
not. According to Keffe D, he was never compensated for the murder. But he said that a partial amount of the money was intended to be forwarded to him through Zip to the tune of about $500,000. The $1 million solicitation amount, only half of it was fulfilled because only Tupac and not Suge was killed. Keffe D has a conversation with Darius Rogers with D-Mac, and D-Mac says there had been a payment from Combs to Keffe D, but it had gone through Zip, and then that money was never forwarded. We're just hoping and waiting to see what kind of progress Las Vegas would make with Keffe D's cooperation. Nothing really happens. Ultimately, Zip dies from cancer, and Orlando Anderson is shot and killed in 1998. So it's really Keffe D and Puffy Combs are the last men standing that can be held accountable for Tupac Shakur's murder.
With the backdrop of East Coast, West Coast beef, Sean took Biggie to Los Angeles to record what would be the finishing touches on Biggie's Life After Death album, which wasn't titled that yet. We had been warned to not come to LA. There were warnings all along for the last few months that we are not to set foot on the West Coast. It was award show season, and Sean wanted him to start promoting the album. Biggie did not want to go, but Sean talked him into doing all of those things. They were like catcalling and booing. We would not welcome. After the award show, Saturday morning, Biggie and I were to go to London, and we were going to have a 2-3 day press junket to have Biggie be one of the first artists from Bad Boy to meet the European press. I had worked on that for months and weeks leading up. We were supposed to go to the airport. That morning, I'm calling Biggie like crazy. What's going on? Wake up. He's like, yo, Puff is bugging. He just called me and told me, I want you to stay here in LA. I don't want to stay. I want to go. But Sean was adamant. Cancel the flight. Biggie's not going to the UK. What do you mean he's not going to? Click, he hangs up. This was his MO. Ego, power, tripping, all of it because Sean wanted to do a party on enemy turf.
That night, Big and Puffy was with us. They were having a party. I spoke to Big, and I was like, yo, man, you know, what are you doing? Cats in LA, man, they get down in these circumstances, man, and you just can't be around here freely. Everybody's mean. I look around, I say, where's Big?
Dawn said it on Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Biggie wanted to go. He's lying about that. Sean wanted that trip and was pushing it for weeks and weeks. He lied about it. It let me know that's a weak spot for him, and he's nervous about that information. He ushered Biggie to his death.
All it was is a Puffy and Suge Knight war. You're messing with lives here, and that's exactly what happened. 2 lives were lost as a result of what? Stupidity?
When I sat down with Valletta, we briefly brought up Sean Combs. It was clear to me that she had no real respect or appreciation for him. Sean clearly didn't do all that he could have done to help out in the investigation. In fact, he was a hindrance in the investigation. Puffy was kind of stonewalling people from talking because he knows if you make inroads on Biggie's murder, you're going to make inroads on Tupac's murder, and that potentially can lead right back to him.
Sean assumed the position of his best friend in every article and publication, and that wasn't necessarily true. Sean said, we're going to do the biggest funeral for Biggie that New York has ever seen. When we start to put that together, he starts to see the price. And he says, we're going to do the biggest funeral.
But Biggie's gonna have to pay for this funeral. He was gonna make the funeral be a recoupable charge to Biggie in death. But he's not gonna tell the world that Biggie was gonna pay for it. Before he was assassinated, Biggie had an opportunity to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. We were delivering the elements so that can happen. And Sean called me and said, pull that cover. I need to be on the cover. My solo album is coming in July, No Way Out, and I need to amp that up. He took the cover from Biggie. Another thing at the time, Biggie was negotiating his contract. We acquiesced and gave him everything he wanted, and then he died. Sean wanted me to change the agreement to more favorable terms for Bad Boy, and his family and mother would not know. And since he had signed the agreement, he wanted those changes to come from out of the center of the agreement and have those pages replaced with the other terms. And I said, that's not right. I'm not doing it. 90 days later, I'm fired.
He became humongous, but now it's him. Now I'm the man.
You've abused everyone and used most everyone. There are horror stories like this all throughout.
Cleared of gun possession and bribery charges, Sean Puffy Combs walked out a free man.
Some people speak up about it, most do not.
It's a pattern with him. Daddy baby. Violence was a very normalized part of living in that world.
I'm about to deposit $200 million right now. I feel good.
Now, I've seen Puff with a lot of women. He knew how to take a woman and change her life overnight.
She would come to me, where's the money he's supposed to be giving me for our son? Around this time, Sean is developing another life with Kim Porter.
Misa was his very first project. He built Misa in Janet's likeness.
Next time I saw Kim, I said, well, if you get with him, make sure you marry him and have plenty of kids, because he's going to be really rich. I said it in jest, just kind of joking.
Kim's from a good home, and she met her bad boy.
She had like a bitch mentality.
Kim would come out with her hair all messed up. Her face would be red.
Kim did, yeah, she ran that shit.
It makes you nice and ripe for whatever he's got planned.
It took just a few years for Sean Puffy Combs to move from record company intern to one of the most successful producer entrepreneurs in music history.
He found an altitude that was right for him.
I decided to start my own fashion line. I feel like I had something to open to the fashion world.
He came before everything.
I was a recording artist. I was on Bad Boy for life, because I was writing music. Time flies, close your eyes, come with me. And it didn't work. Hear my cries, hear my calls in the mirror, see my falls, see my errors, know my false time halts. I lived in Puffy's brownstone on 32nd and 2nd and 3rd, something like that. I remember I came home one day and Shine had an AK-47 with the bullet jammed in it.
I do not own a gun. I do not carry a gun.
And I was like, yo, if you can't get the bullet out, you shouldn't be having your hands on the gun.
I was shot in my face.
Diddy came to the club with J-Lo and Shine.
I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club.
Words were exchanged, and next thing you know, guns came out.
She saw Puffy Combs pull a black gun about the same time as Shine pulled his.
A stolen gun was found in the sports utility vehicle that Combs and Lopez were whisked away in after the shooting.
I transported Diddy that night to the Midtown South Precinct.
Puff Daddy spent more than 12 hours being questioned by police. Still, he stopped to autograph a court sketch of himself.
Because every time P. Diddy got into trouble, I was always the guy that had to be there.
Where anything happens anywhere, he's blamed for it. When is it going to be fair for Sean Puffy Combs?
Before that shooting, Puff already had been in trouble for I guess you can call it a felony charge. I came into the studio one time and Hezekiah Walker was in there. He was telling Puff that for him to make a mockery of Jesus wasn't something that he should be doing.
Combs had asked fellow record exec Stephen Stout not to run the clip, and when he refused, Puffy and two bodyguards allegedly pummeled Stout with a champagne bottle, telephone, and a chair.
So man, he told the security, oh, we're gonna go down to Steve Stout office and do this and this and this. I said, well, I'm gonna sit right here in this chair What's the other verse you want me to be working on while y'all doing that?
Steve Stout was beat up pretty bad because I remember he was in the hospital.
Stout said he suffered a broken arm and a jaw in the attack, but Combs says he never broke any part of Stout.
Between the Steve Stout incident and the shooting at Club New York, the DA, he had it out for Diddy. He wanted him.
Since then, Stout and Combs have settled out of court for $500,000.
Stout has even asked the Manhattan District Attorney to drop all criminal charges.
The fate of Sean Puffy Combs will soon be in the hands of a jury.
Shine's lawyers conceded that their client fired his gun, but only in self-defense.
He expects to be acquitted. He was wrongly accused from the very beginning.
I went to the judge 3 times complaining about my lawyers.
Diddy got acquitted for the charges.
I just want to say I give all glory to God.
It's obvious that they were selling me, you understand, in order to appease him.
Give all glory to God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to walk out here to talk to y'all today.
To take the responsibility for that?
Shine, however, he went to jail for 10 years.
And in his heart, he know he didn't do it. Everybody who's around Puff almost been to prison except Puff. So many people were tired of being around Puff. Faith Evans, and the Locks. So he's losing his most profitable artists.
On Valentine's Day, Puffy and Jennifer announced their split.
Chaos, conflict. I couldn't do it. Yeah, fight or flight. I wasn't fighting with that. You watching what could have been you. But if you know Sean, he's never alone.
And I'm gonna hit y'all back, tell you what I think about it.
I was in school to become an attorney. This was on the cover of the Desert Sun newspaper in our local Palm Springs today. Making the Band was a reality TV show that was a national search to build a supergroup in front of the world.
Making the Band, let's go.
When you get to a place where you're able to even connect with somebody like a Diddy, of course you're thinking, okay, here's my savior.
This is the moment y'all all been waiting for. This is what y'all worked so hard for.
So of course I thought that my life would change in a good way, you know?
And they gave me a stack of papers like this and told me that I had 24 hours to go through it and sign it.
Make sure you have read the fine print, because once you're in, it ain't no way out.
Definitely signed it.
I felt like we had everything.
What Making the Band had that he hadn't got yet was pop credibility.
He had just launched Sean John. He would always tell me, I'm on the road to make $1 billion. On that road, he didn't care who got in his way.
He made us go walk to Brooklyn from Manhattan for cheesecake.
A large strawberry cheesecake with extra strawberries and an apple pie. It's absolute power and control. This is for Diddy. They were fans.
Come on, finish up strong. Come on, man. Some of your actions affect the group.
He was separating me, and there was a different set of expectations for me. Diddy made it clear that I was the looker. If you change your mind and get ready to do what I say, hit me, happy face. This is your boss at your work sending you that email. 6 months later, I was fired. I was fired for not participating.
I go out to LA, I get to this house that's hanging off the cliff. He's like, Kalina, you're here. What you gonna do to it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Diddy Dirty Money.
Welcome, Diddy Dirty Money. And he was like, I need your energy. I can't do this without you. Dawn and Sean had this unspoken thing they do. I saw Dawn participating in things and talking about things that she thought he was interested in.
Hi, my name is Cassie, and I grew up in New London, Connecticut.
That shit is bright.
Say what's up to people.
Hey, people.
That's Cass right there. She's in the vocal booth doing what she gotta do.
I moved to New York when I was 18 to pursue a dream of being in the entertainment industry.
About 2 weeks later, she was doing the record. You could tell that Puff was uneasy because Ryan was there. Next thing I knew, Cassie was there, and Ryan wasn't. They offered him a crazy number, like $100 million bonus or something like that. I was more of a street dude, back and forth in jail. I didn't think that that was open to us.
Cassie, say hi to the people.
Hey, people.
Say hello.
And Kim was around, too.
Yeah, Kim was definitely around. But Kim ain't know about Cassie at that time.
Cassie was like out in the crowd. She's his trophy, right?
At first, Kim would catch her attitude. Go to your bitch, or have your do that.
When Kim would come around, Cassie had to go and like go get a massage or something. Cause Kim's like, yeah, I'm not doing this shit. But now he's in a new group.
We wanted to drop Cassie's first single. Tell him about it, girl.
He paid all her bills. He was taking her places.
Happy birthday, Cassie!
And his promise was, your album is next. But it didn't turn out like that.
I just got a random phone call from someone who sounded like she looked amazing. She asked me to come to a Manhattan hotel. I believe it was the London Hotel in Midtown. She tells me that I'm there to please her for her husband. You know, they're married. They like to spice things up. He had like a shirt tied around his face. She has a bathrobe, a red wig on. He would sit in the corner, and he kind of threw on a fake voice to make himself sound like he was from the South. She would have me put the baby oil on. She took the bottle and said, no, that's not enough. All over me. And he would direct her to pleasure herself while she watched me. That might last an hour or so until she and I could have sex. Turn 10 degrees more, 10 degrees more. Slow down. Step towards the candle a little bit. Grab that dick. Step back a little bit. Ain't it pretty? Step forward a little bit. Very detail-oriented. The process was always heavily regulated by him. This would usually last maybe 4 or 5 rounds, depending on how many times she climaxed. It was a little under 2 days, maybe 18 to 20 hours. He would literally pick the laptop up, put it on the bed next to us with some candles around it to make sure it was at an angle so it could be recorded. And they gave me about $6,000. The weirdest thing was they used to physically collect my semen in a cup. I was involved in this for a little over 8 years. He told me I like to see her play with it and drink it. They collected my semen for like a year. He's like, what's wrong with that? I was like, you know, to each his own. But after that, they never asked me about it again. They never collected it. But he was responsible for the reason I would go from New York to California, New York to Miami. But they always called me on March 9th. I would hang out, drink, and party with them for 3-4 days while I had sex with Cassandra. I asked her, like, yo, how the hell do you guys stay up like this? You guys are up like 2-3 days, like nothing's happening. As the relationship progressed, he began to join the encounters where, like, I would go, he would go. I would go, he would go. She brings me an ecstasy pill. We take this, it's good. She literally talks me into taking E for the first time.
I had to find a private doctor to get treatment for him. And either she broke a bottle and sliced his wrist, or he, in desperation, sliced his wrist. After the stitching and the wrapping, more Percocet. That incident may have started his addiction to drugs.
Diddy blog, Diddy blog.
He would go hard for like 14 days. Cocaine, strawberry cocaine.
I'm doing my motherfucking thing in there.
Purple cocaine, pink cocaine.
I like to have a good time.
That's the bad boy way.
I don't think I ever encountered Puff at a time where he wasn't high out of his face. One time in particular, I remember he was like, y'all should keep going. This was kind of short. And she says, no, you know, I have a career. I have things to do. He gets violent. He says, what, bitch? Grabs him. And then I just heard the door open and slam shut. But when they came out, she came out like absolutely nothing happened. One time in Miami, I was having sex with him. He gets jealous and he just runs and jumps on top of her and starts going. And he says, what the fuck are you laughing at? What, his dick bigger than mine? And he kicked the shit out of her.
I just wanted to roll the cameras and show, like, just what an exciting
time that we had.
I liked him as a person because I didn't know him. Everything that I believed you were, I began to see him use the culture that he came from. Sean was uncomfortable around so many black people. It was only when he needed them that he felt comfortable enough. I began to see the ugliness and the nature of him as a human being.
Cassie has like the most beautiful energy.
And for me, seeing the way he treats Cassie.
Now I know. She was, she was fucking fighting him and getting fucking kicked and punched and...
Oh, we tell you the tea.
Trying to get away. Cassie had realized...
I keep everything right here. There you go. Or right here.
He's never gonna have a baby with me. She wanted to be
In a bombshell lawsuit, Cassie alleges the Bad Boy Records music mogul, throughout their 10-year relationship, physically and sexually abused her.
I was no longer going to be embarrassed. I am not the only one. I'm going to stand up.
Don't get on. Just drop some money. Some dirty money.
Another woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs
Sean
of
Combs is being
sexual
accused of sexual misconduct by
Breaking
a music
news, another
producer.
woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs of assault in a new
It's the
lawsuit.
4th lawsuit in the last few weeks.
Combs is already facing at least 10 lawsuits.
There are now more than a dozen civil cases that have been filed against Combs.
What level of brokenness, disease is going on?
Federal investigators raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami today as part of a human trafficking investigation.
You're on my last album now. All of a sudden, I'm this person, I'm this monster.